What's up, Reverb Nation? Welcome to Music Career Study Group. It's our weekly chance to get together and learn from each other, talk to each other, and dive into a topic that's going to have an impact on you as a working musician. And I'm really excited because today, after about 2 weeks of ingesting more music content on social than is definitely healthy, I am ready to talk about 7 social video trends I've been noticing working for music promotion. So this would be obviously Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, just what's working. I want to talk to you about it, see if you think it works. Maybe you've tried some of these things. If so, let us know. Maybe you hate some of these ideas, in which case that can have a lot of value too. Sometimes I think when artists, we have so many ideas and so many options. So it could be really helpful to just say, no, I'm never going to do that. And, shut that door, walk swiftly in a different direction. So any thoughts you have about these trends, I would love to hear. And speaking about loving to hear from you, this is a live stream, so it's supposed to be casual. We've had people all over the world tuning in. What's up, Dwayne? How's it going? Yeah, the past couple of weeks, we've had people from all over the world watching, so let us know where you're watching from. And again, any thoughts you have on the topic of the day would be great. The topic is social video trends. Before I get to that topic, I've just got a few things of housekeeping real quick. One is, let's see. Oh, yeah. Normally, I've got a co-host. Kevin Bruner is generally on here with me to talk. Today, he is not because he's on vacation, so I hope he's not tuning in. Kevin, if you are, go enjoy your time off. In planning for his absence, I invited my friend Mike Warner to come on here. Mike wrote a book called Work Hard, Playlist Hard. It's a really good book about all the things you can do to promote your music on the DSP streaming platform dashboards. I also want to get him on here to talk about like the current state of playlists, where they are helpful, where they are detrimental to your music's growth. But he had a scheduling conflict, so he couldn't be here today, which is why I put this video topic together. He will be on here. Hey, what's up, Ian? How you doing? Hello to Vermont from Maine. We're almost neighbors, but for that pesky New Hampshire in the middle. What was I saying? So Mike will be on here in November. And if you ask why the heck is he coming so far away, the answer is because the month of October is spoken for. I'm really excited because Rick Barker is going to be with us the first 4 Thursdays in October. If you don't know Rick, he is Taylor Swift's former manager. Great guy, gives no nonsense advice. He knows a lot about just the kind of the foundational building blocks of a successful career, obviously, and setting up Taylor Swift's career. Hello to France. This rendezvous is so interesting. Thanks so much. Don't know such things in France, even administration for artists. Well, you're in the right place. Ask whatever questions come to mind. It's great to have people from all over the world tuning in. What was I going to say? Oh, so Rick clearly knows how to establish artist careers. But the other cool thing about him is he has stayed super curious about all the latest promo tactics and communication tools and stuff. So whenever Kevin and I have had Rick involved in conferences or podcasts or whatever we've done in the past, Rick has been really motivating. And I think artists always walk away having actually done something during the workshop that moves their music forward. And unlike those times where we have them for about an hour, hour and a half, this we've got them for the whole month. So it's going to be 4 different sessions every Thursday, or rather the first 4 Thursdays in October. Super psyched for that. So be sure to tune in. I think that might be all the housekeeping. If you're just tuning in, this is the Music Career Study Group, where every week we get together and talk about different topics that relate to your music career. Today, we're going to be talking about social video trends, and it's totally open conversation. So would love to hear from you. Please weigh in. If you want to help grow this community too, do the usual things like comment, share. That's super helpful, and I appreciate it. All right, let me dig into the topic at hand here. So, like I said, over the past couple of weeks, I watched a definitely unhealthy amount of Reels and Shorts and TikTok videos, and I walked away with 7 things I want to point out, 7 commonalities, trends that they leaned into. But before I go through, I put together a bunch of examples so we can watch them. I'll pause as I want to point out different lessons, and I love to get your take in real time as you're watching them as well. But I thought it would be good to just review some super basic stuff. This might seem obvious, but why are you on social as an artist? So clearly it's where people are these days. And every generation of artists has had some sort of extra musical thing they needed to do to move their music forward. In the 1700s, you had to go and get the patronage of some count or duke or king. What did that have to do with the music? Well, it supported the music. In the 60s, get on Ed Sullivan and get in the fan magazines. In the 70s, it was like Old Gray Whistle Test TV show. In the 80s and 90s, it was music videos. And now today, it is short form video platforms. That's where people are. And that means you can get reach. So that comes in usually two forms. One is when you create really great, compelling content, it'll get algorithmic reach. So the recommendation engines will serve that to strangers and you get free organic reach. The other thing is that these same exact platforms are obviously advertising platforms. So you can pay for this same kind of reach. As you reach people more and more often, the more frequent touch points you have with them, you deepen your branding, deepen and nurture that relationship you have with your fan. All of that obviously leads to a kind of winnowing process where you're going to lose people along the way, but the closer they get to you, the more sort of diehard loyal following you're going to have, which can lead to off-platform conversions like sales and capturing their emails, getting them to concerts, stuff like that. And then I also think it's worth mentioning the obvious that just being on social sometimes is fun and you can express yourself and just make wacky videos. And that's worth something even when you're not thinking in like mercenary terms, like what can this do for my music? And lastly, social serves as social proof. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you have a ton of followers or when you have a particular video that has a ton of likes and shares and comments, you are proving to a stranger before they even unmute it and watch it, other people have liked this. A lot of other people have liked it. And that gives them a kind of permission to enjoy it in a way they might have been prejudiced against it had they just come to it and not seen any of those metrics. So that's a sort of social proof to the people that you want to become your fans. The other sort of proof it is to the industry. So like it or not, we've got these various metrics that the industry cares about, and your social engagement is definitely one of them. And although artists can game the system to some degree and fake some of these numbers, for one, that's not advisable, but also the industry can sort of sniff that out and see through it. So when you have true high engagement on social, it kind of serves as a shorthand for success. It's proof that whatever you're doing is working, and it might be worth partnering in some way, whether it's a label, a manager, a venue, whoever you're trying to impress. Social tends to be the shortest way to do that and to prove it. If you're just tuning in, I'll say this is the Music Career Study Group. Say hey, let us know who's watching. It's great to see people from all around the world. Let's see here. So that's why you're on social. Hopefully most of that is obvious, but we dig into why the average user is on social, the person that you want to impress and turn into your fan. They're generally there for one or more of these three things. They want to feel better or worse. So inspiration, things that kind of like motivate them to get up and make the most of their day, or outrage. But either way, whether they're being inspired or outraged, the end result is that they feel connected to something. So they feel less alone. That's one reason people are on social. The next, if you're ever on Instagram, it's what's up, Simon in London? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in here. I was going to say, if you've ever been on Instagram, it's just full of tutorials, tips, hacks, stuff like that. So people love to know how to make something that they're passionate about easier or better or more optimized. And I put lessons, education, and motivation on this slide here. And what I mean from motivation there is slightly different from the more general life inspiration they might get from the first category. It's motivation to do a very specific thing in a very specific activity. So it's like how to use this reverb on your next track, or how to make sure tomorrow morning when you wake up, you go for that 4-mile run, something like that. And then lastly, probably obvious, but social is just low commitment entertainment, also sometimes low entertainment. And it is competing with everything else. So it's eating into streaming TV. It's eating into cable TV. It's eating into going out to live shows. Because again, low barrier, low commitment. Usually if someone doesn't like something, they skip right along. And that has an appeal clearly to your average everyday person looking for entertainment. So why is it worth pointing all this out? Well, successful content usually does one or more of these things. It makes people feel smarter, lighter, less alone, or just simply entertained. And it does it over and over again. So the over and over again thing I mentioned because clearly platforms want to reward content that keeps eyes glued to the app. So the more you can do that, either by making a video that's so compelling that it encourages repeat views, that's one way, or you make so much of that type of thematic content with good quality that you're basically helping that platform achieve the same goal just through sheer volume of output. So those are some things we should review before we look at specific examples. Um, we're going to watch a bunch of videos that I've put into 7 different categories, 7 different trends that I'm seeing. Um, but there's 5 things I wanted to point out before we start watching specific videos. There is a big difference between outreach content and nurturing content. So outreach content is good for that introduction to strangers. They have no idea who you are. They are compelled to unmute it, watch it, and hopefully they love it. So that's stuff that works for strangers. And then nurturing content, on the other hand, is the stuff you serve to the people who are already in love with your music. They're your existing followers. They're your diehard fans. What works for them is very, very different from what works for strangers. And an example I will point out is I've got a video I'll play here in a second that is amazing outreach content. If you've been on Instagram at all in the past month, you've probably seen it a bunch. Let me pull that up here. What's up, Kevin? Sorry you can't be there. Hello from Disneyland. Hello to Disneyland. Now go enjoy a ride. What are you doing on this live stream? All right, so this is an example I'm going to play of amazing outreach content. You've probably seen it.
Seems to be okay, but I cannot talk, so I bite my tongue and write down my thoughts on the streets in blood. Wake up.
All right, so in a way that feels like clickbait, I think, but whether you feel ripped off at the end or not, it got your attention, I'm assuming. It kept the suspense and it kept you watching to the end because you want to see what happens. Now, of course, kind of nothing happens, but that is a bit besides the point of the fact that this is a perfect video for strangers. On the other hand, there's an artist named David who's been blown up over the past year. And later in this presentation, I'll show you a video he made that is great for outreach. However, he had this series of posts he made where he shared his voice memos. So this is just like kind of a blank screen share type thing. There's no real graphics happening. And it's just his demos. They did get massive engagement amongst his existing audience who are psyched to kind of be in on the process. It feels vulnerable. So that is perfect nurturing content for the existing fan base. But you should be aware of that distinction so that you just don't assume that everything you make is for everybody. Certain kinds of content have a certain kind of use. Another thing I want to point out is that what we're going to be concentrating on today is stuff that's working for original content that exists on your own profile, and it's meant to sort of, endear people to you as an artist. That is a very different tactic or set of different strategy, I should say, to people who are trying to make trending audio go viral. Very different process. How's it going, Donchi Newsome? Thank you. Yeah, and if people are just tuning in, this is the Music Career Study Group. Totally open conversation. Because I'm on here alone today, I've got a bit more of a presentation, but I don't want to do all the talking. So if you've got things you want to weigh in on, things you've tried in your own videos, please let me know. And yeah, let's see what else. One thing that will become very clear is that hardly any of this content looks promotional in nature. None of it asks people to do anything in addition. All but except one never mentions the artist name or song title or anything like that. And then I'm going to skip to social is a funnel. So I say this to mean just like any marketing activity, it's a winnowing process. You've got everyone on social, billions of people at the top. Of them, maybe a million people will see your content. Of those, 100,000 might like it. Of those, 1,000 might come back to see the second video. And at the bottom, you've got 10 new fans or whatever. That's the basic process. And I say that to remind you that you can't expect a single amazing video to go and make your career and to, earn you lifelong fans. This is really about a process you can sustain to keep people coming closer and closer to you over the long haul. And the last thing I want to say, I skipped the fourth bullet here, but it's in some ways the most important. which is what can you commit to as an artist? There are tons of marketing gurus out there. You probably see them on Instagram all the time saying like the secret to success is just so easy. You just put out a song every 4 weeks. Easy, right? Then you make just 20 different video treatments for that video. And then you chop each of those 20 videos into 5 different things. So it's like, who is this artist who has infinite amounts of free time, a great team, the budget to do all of this every 4 weeks for a new song, on and on and on and on. So this advice frustrates me, not because it's bad advice, but they aim it at independent artists as if independent artists are just de facto set up to be able to pull that off month after month. And I find usually it's not true. And when artists follow that formula, that recipe, it burns them out. First, because they just put a ton of time into following these steps to the letter. And then the results, it's sort of questionable whether they get the return on that investment of time that first time around. But it becomes very clear that they can't keep it up month over month over month. And then add to that the fact that these trends on social are shifting all the time, and now you're chasing some new kind of content. So all of that to say, do what you can commit to. What are you passionate about making? Maybe it's not the most optimized, maybe it's not the most trendy thing, but if you can commit to doing it, once a month or something, whatever your cadence is that you can do for years to come, do that. And I would guess, this isn't a very data-driven statement, but my gut instinct is that if you do that, that approach is going to get you much further than following the advice of like, just make 20 videos for every song and put a song out every day. And like, that's not going to happen. Just so ultimately, although we're going to be talking about a bunch of trends, you should be following your passion, your talents, what you are motivated to create, rather than jumping from trend to trend. That being said, let's dive into some trends, and maybe some of these will inspire you to find the thing you can commit to over the long term. And let's go to the next slide here. If you are just tuning in, this is the Music Career Study Group. I'm doing a sort of presentation style because my co-host is on vacation this week, but would love to hear from all of you. Please let me know where you're watching from, what's new in your own social video, music promotional world. Okay, so as I said, I've watched way too many music videos on social over the past 2 weeks. And here's the 7 trends, 7 commonalities I have noticed. I've called them walk with me, supersize or downsize yourself, I dare you, squeeze them in, teach me something, make music with me, and the all new old school music video. So we'll go through each of these categories. I'll show you examples as we go. Let's see, the walk with me one I'll start with because I think for independent artists, it's the most approachable. You need like just a camera. You barely need a set. You need maybe a little bit of charisma, but it's the most low impact production thing you could do. It's the most sort of DIY. And clearly we love to watch people walk. So here are some videos that use this. And I'll just say the first example, I think it's about a year old, but it keeps surfacing for me. So clearly it's working. And he does a great job of putting this caption right at the top that I think dares people to pay attention. And it's like, this is the greatest new thing in this genre or something like that. And people are like, is it? I'll be the judge of that. So I love that dare right off the bat. Here goes.
Whatever they claim to be heavy, but light as a feather. They selling their souls. We don't talk to devils. Connected to Yah. This a new level. Bury the beat. Bring me the shovel. Me and my bros sticking together. We never fold. We never settle. We never wait. We gon' take him out like a date. Treat him like he noodles on a plate. He gon' get 8. Homicide first 48. Never last. Boy, I come in first place. We ain't really have much coming.
Your mom tells me that I've got the wrong bathroom. I didn't actually ask Karen. She's confused by my clothes and my hair and my shoes. Maybe I should wear a dress so that her stress can diffuse. Manchester Airport, I know they're looking at me, trying to see what you'd have put me through security. Shocked at the screen of the X-ray machine, 'cause I'm a little rap boy in the body of a lingerie model. These days are double.
Here I go with a unorthodox flow. Whoa, all y'all don't get chose, but I still get picked like a fro. Can I really go stand on business, even if I don't have 10 toes? I like when my top lit back. I like when my seat go low. They say, hey, Norm, what you doing? I say, hey, bro, I don't know. I stay counting like a crow. I watch all my money grow. That's that Make it 1/3 of the way. You can catch a shell like a turtle of the day. I be going crazy like birds of prey. I be in the cart like Mario Vroom. Ain't MF, but I still bring the
Leave the keys on the island. It's not my fault. You didn't know what goodbye meant. Yeah. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Well, my bluff is tight. 'Cause I'm no featherweight, but are you fine? We're through the garden gate. Is it you or I don't know, or do we play charades? I need all of you to hold on to, so we don't fade away.
All right, so you can tell pretty low impact in terms of what you need to pull it off well production wise. Just kind of a good charismatic performance. Some of those were live. You can hear background noise. Sometimes they're to a track. Either way, lip syncing is fine. So I saw a whole lot of walk with me type content. Also want to say at this point, how is the audio on those? Sometimes it's a little, let me know, is it clipping or all audible, too loud, too soft? I want to make sure I can turn them down from here as we go. Yeah, I think so too. And I love the mix of simplicity in terms of the approach with the creativity of just the artist. Sometimes keeping it that simple lets the artist just be the whole thing, which is pretty cool. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? Sounded good to me. Okay, that's good to know. Sweet. All clear. Okay, I'll proceed as usual then. Okay, so the next category, this is sort of a big, vague one, but called it supersize yourself. So this is my way of addressing some advice that I think is well-meaning, but often a little confusing, that we commonly hear from music marketing gurus. They say, see, very nice trends happening. Yeah. So you'll hear a lot of people say, be authentic, as if that just solves everything about you getting attention. Just be authentic, just be you. The problem is, for a lot of us, we're like, well, if I be me, that's not all that interesting. So maybe the actual solution is be interesting, not authentic. And of course, you don't want to sell out and whatever, chase something that doesn't feel authentic. But I think the real advice is find something about yourself that is either interesting or that you are interested in, and see if you can build like a caricature or a persona around that thing and supersize that. One obvious way that people do that is through humor. We'll see some funny content as we go on this one. There's a danger with humor, I feel like, is if you lean too far into it as a musician, suddenly that becomes a thing people are there for as opposed to your original content. And so humor tends to be one of those slippery slopes wherein I think the more successful people become as a content creator, the more danger they run of being just a content creator and sort of losing that initial purpose of, but anyways, that's a big warning for about something you can figure out how to balance on your own. But another thing we'll see is someone who has taken an aspect of themselves and made themselves a huge persona around that sort of social anxiety they have. You can be you on repeat. So serializing, having a series where you do something similar over and over again. There's an example of that. And in fact, the example I pulled for that one, he's not even a musician. He's a comedian. You've probably seen his stuff. He does this sort of mashup where he takes hard rock songs and he does them in a yacht rock style. So pretty funny. You can loom large if you have a huge charismatic, like rock star personality. Keep that at the forefront. There's a woman playing drums who I think really like exemplifies that approach. And then first we'll watch videos that are those first four categories. And then I have a whole separate reel for getting vulnerable. So I think another way to sort of supersize yourself is actually to shrink it so it feels very vulnerable, small, stripped down. And I've got some examples to show for that too. But first we'll do supersize, which has a lot of comedy in it. Here we go.
Been to Frankie Muniz. Lately I've been thinking what happened to Frankie Muniz. Don't know what he's up to, but I hope he's alright. I used to love this movie, so I wonder how he's doing. Wherever you
will tell you every detail of my life because I like to blabber. Whether you like it or not, I will tell you by my deepest regrets, my bowel moments and my pet. If I'm hungry at the shoes I wanna get, and the things today that made me just a little bit upset with, or I'm not, I'm into vests. I am the CEO of oversharing. I go bloody, bloody, blah, bloody, 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 blah, bloody, 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 blah,
All aboard! Hey, 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 crazy, that's how it goes. Millions of people living as foes. Maybe it's not too late.
Please, please, step on my spleen. Give me a reason to leave. Why can't you be mean? Eat my spleen. Baby, so please cheat on me. Good sex and poor communication. I'm indecisive, don't know what I want. I said I love you way too fucking much. I broke too many times to give up. I can sleep when I'm dead again.
All right. So those were all sort of, I thought, people who had made themselves a bit larger than life. Maybe the example of the woman who shared her voice memos maybe isn't larger than life, but it's funny because it's that like self-deprecating humor, which I love. I thought it was super endearing. Now, conversely, in addition to supersize, there's downsizing. So I have a reel of a bunch of things that are vulnerable. And usually this means kind of solo acoustic performances, but they can be really powerful. Let me see where that one is. Vulnerability. Okay, here we go.
Break my heart, don't break it. Love me to my bones. All this time I've wasted.
I wrestled with an angel, now I bear a new name. They cast me in the fire and I found you in the flame. Touch the coals of my lips.
Doesn't even matter what I say. I'll never make these feelings go away. Tell me, is this real to you? 'Cause I can feel my heart again. You're so tempting, but I'm scared, so I'd rather pretend.
If you need a drink, then I'm fine. If you need a minute to think, I got time. If you need a shoulder, come over, it's all good. Baby, cry on mine. If you need a hand, I got two. If you're in the mood to dance, I got moves. If you need a night in, a night on. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight, bang bang. He shot me down, bang bang. Once upon a time I was a baker, and everybody was impressed. But I didn't need approval because I already knew I was the best. Everything I made was a masterpiece. It all tastes like heaven. But then unfortunately, I turned 7. I believe in nothing now, so I don't contradict myself. I have been the fool too many times in front of you. She believes in everything. I lose sleep. I haven't heard from her in 2 weeks, but she's not the kind of girl that asks to choose.
Ooh, that song, so amazing to me. I have no idea what's happening rhythmically, but maybe it's one of those tunes that's actually just in 4/4, but like has all the syncopation. It's tough to count. I don't know if you figured it out. Let me know. All right, so those were all examples of downsizing, of vulnerability, and sometimes there was a camera person following following the action, but sometimes it's just a person in the room, steady shot. So it's very duplicable. Oh yeah, it's so cool. The vibe is like so mysterious. Guitar playing's great. Loved it. So yeah, I think that that is an example of something every musician can do if they make music on an instrument. You know, maybe if you're an electronic producer, there's a different way to have that kind of up close focus on you. I had some examples of that later. But a lot of times I hear artists being like, I can't do social, I can't make content. Well, that was all content. And all that is someone performing, which you would think most musicians like performing, right? So there's not really much of an excuse to at least not try that sort of content as an artist. How's everyone doing? Thoughts on these so far? Do you like them? Do they work? Do any of them bug you? Again, at the beginning of this, I said sometimes it's helpful to see something, be like, I hate that. I will never do that. So let me know. Something rubs you the wrong way. The next category I want to discuss is called I Dare You. And there's a couple ways of getting this sort of energy into a video. There's like the stunt arrangement with weird instruments. You've probably all seen it. I've got an example I'll show in a second. Looping. Sometimes looping has this suspense built in. It feels like a dare because you want to see if they screw up, even though my suspicion is almost all looping videos on social are actually pre-recorded, which is great. Cool. Glad you're getting something out of this. Yeah, I mean, my sense of most social videos is they're pre-recorded and then made to look live, and that's fine. It gives you permission to not worry about the audio and the video at the same time, get some good audio, then make it look convincing like it's happening in real time. Another thing that you'll see is a mashup. So if you take, you know, disparate musical elements and put them together, that can have a sort of a stunt or dare-like quality. Odd performance techniques is an example in here where someone has made a series, ongoing series, out of learning songs backwards, performing them that way, and then at some point in the video, they play it in reverse, and then you find out what the actual song is, which is cool in a lot of ways. It's amazing that they can do that as a technique. It takes a lot of work, I'm sure, to learn it that way. And then it keeps you suspensefully watching to be like, what is this? Do I recognize the song? So that's a great thing. And then the last kind of dare I've seen is when you put yourself into an uncomfortable performance situation. So sort of daring yourself to do something very strange. And you'll see an example of that. What's up, Melissa? Good afternoon, guys, listening from my office in Nashville. Hello to you in Nashville. Did you just go to Americana Fest? Are you happy it's over? Did the masses all leave town? All right, so let me show you some of these sorts of stunt videos. One sec. Where is it? Here we go.
Singing songs backwards and then flipping it forwards to see how close I am, part 25 with Jack Milligan.
Let's do it, baby.
Rewind that. Yeah. Now we're you know what's it for you. It can't be wrapped around your finger.
Slowly walking down the hall. Guess I didn't quite cannonball. Well, we in love with the thought we were getting high, choked up, face down, burnt out. Someday you will, baby.
Hey, can I sit here real quick?
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
Shawn Mendes.
Perfect. Can I sing one?
Sure.
Ready?
Yeah.
I thought that I've been hurt before, but no one's ever left me quite this sore. Your words cut deeper than mine. Now I need someone to bring you back to life. Got a feeling that I'm going.
All right. So those are examples of the dare type videos. And I'm curious what you think of those. Is that last one? I feel like when that guy does that, they're all set up, but that's fine. Like the charm of the video is still there, whether we're being duped or not. So curious what your take on that is. Did you think the looping one was actually live, or were they just aping along to something they'd already recorded? What do you think? All right, let me see. The next type of content we've got. Oh yeah, squeeze them in. So this one's nothing new, but ever since video kind of went from this way to this way, there's been this delight I feel like viewers have in seeing two or more people just squeezed into the frame. And it's a very simple thing. For me, it still hasn't lost its charm. So here's a bunch of squeeze them in type videos I found recently.
I am just a poor boy, though my story's seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. Thanks to you, I'm all read up on.
Oh, I'm just going to pause this for 1 second. So she has the book, right? She's holding it. This is another thing you will see all over social these days. It's called a pattern interrupt, where something unusual is noticeable, makes you tune in. Like, why is she holding a book? Why is that guy holding his coffee while he's delivering a speech? There's just some strange thing right off the bat to capture the eye. We tune in, and then she puts the book away.
Narcissus, you've got a lot in common with an ancient Greek myth. If all you see is your reflection, you should take the hint to content. 生麦生米生卵なんもないからお店に買いに行こう。赤パジャマ黄パジャマ茶パジャマぐちゃぐちゃなまま置かれててめっちゃ邪魔。カエルぴょこぴょこみぴょこぴょこ買えば増えて今や15ぴょこぴょこ。祝新春ジャズシャンソンショーまず3周回って優秀賞。
So again, from a production standpoint, I think only that last one actually had a camera person moving it around. All of the other ones, I'm pretty sure, were just static camera. So even if you've got a band, all the band gets in the camera, in the frame. Camera just leave it stationary. It's pretty low impact in terms of production. Aaron, you're saying it bothers you when you think it was staged. Do you mean that for the live looping stuff, or when you think that that guy being brave enough to go and try and impress the girl is staged, or both? I don't know how I feel about it. Like, when I think about social video as just entertainment, part of me is like, it's all fake. You know, like, I know we're supposed to think of it as real and social, but like, ultimately, if this is replacing big media entertainment, then I'm going to expect it's literally all staged. In which case, does it charm me up to the point that I even think to question whether it's real? I don't know if that was a little too meandering an opinion. That's how I feel about it. I kind of don't care. But I'm curious what your thoughts are. Which ones of those bugged you? And did you think they were staged? All right. So as we go on, let's see. Next is teach me something. So if you're ever on these social platforms, you know they're full of hacks and tips and 1 minute to figure out how to do this. Tutorials. Let me walk you through this. Let me show you how my online course will improve your life in less than a week. Lots of learning is happening. And so if you can figure out how to make the education also entertaining and not necessarily ask someone to do anything after that point, it can be a huge, I don't know, it's sort of extra contextual reason to fall in love with your content. Let's see. Sam, when it seems natural, that's well done. I like the way they are quite bold. Yes. I mean, I'm not sure if you're talking about the guy going up with the acoustic guitar to the girl or the looping. They were kind of both bold. So for me, they both worked. What's happening in Austin, Texas? Hello from Maine. Let's see. What was I? Oh yeah, teach me something. So let me find the examples of somewhat educational content. Here we go.
Adding a C dominant 7 right before that F. Secondary dominant adds a little chromatic gravity. And then we could put a 2 chord before that, like a G minor 7. That's really nice. You can try an E7. Lots of chromatic gravity there.
That I love that guy's content. He, from what I've seen, mostly does chordal harmonic lessons. They're all, brief, digestible. They're shot well, and there's just something about how he plays those chord changes that is so moving to me, even though he's talking and it's a lesson. So while I might sometimes say don't go too far into teaching people music production or music theory if what you really want is for people to fall in love with your original songs, for a genre like jazz where it is so kind of theoretical, and I think the audience has a level of sophistication where they do understand some of that stuff, it seems like a good overlap, jazz and educational content, because if that guy was coming through my town, I would go see him. So anyways, here's another one. This is also jazz related, and this isn't necessarily educational at face value. What she's doing is a vocal transcription of a saxophone solo, but it still comes from that sort of musicological archivist type impulse, which feels at least adjacent to education to me. So check this one out. This group, Winborn, is the group that sort of made me realize the power of education in entertaining music promo content. So I had a chance to speak to them a couple years ago at a music conference. I interviewed them about how they were blowing up on TikTok. And there's a lot of reasons why they were using TikTok so well from so many angles. But one of the things they did was to say, hey, the music we make is from all these rich vocal traditions. There's Corsican vocal music, there's sea shanties, labor songs, wassailing, which I assume is like some sort of late Middle Ages English type music. Anyways, so much historical context in this music that if we simply add text, a lot of text on screen, there's so much for people to dig into. Too much, actually. They'll have to watch the video again to get it all. So sometimes they'd have all the lyrics going at the same time as information about the music, the traditions, stuff like that. And it was just this like bombardment of educational context so that people would watch it 2-3 times to get it all. And I thought that was brilliant. So they've been doing it very well on Instagram as well. So that was an example of that. Let me continue on here. Oh, doing a lot of talking on this one, but I let most of this one run. A lot of these I've just been taking a snippet. This one I let almost get to the end because I think this person does a great job of showing you all these different vocal tricks and what they're called maybe in the vocal chorus singing world. And I've started watching it out of suspense of like, well, how many more things can they do? How many more tricks do they have up their sleeve? So check this one out. I liked it a lot.
Was it just a game, but I'm in so deep? You know I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Oh, I put the words of you
First, gotta find me. What's 50 grand to a month?
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
I'm so fancy. You already know. I'm
How come not?
So this one I think does a good job of keeping you sort of suspensefully tuned in a similar way to that last one. Actually, you just want to know what the next thing is. Maybe plays on your nostalgia if you lived through this generation of music and you're responding to the music that's being played. You also kind of get that trivia impulse of like, wait, can I guess what the next one would be? What was the biggest song that year? And then on top of all that, or maybe beneath all of that, is just this DJ trying to show you that they can mix this stuff together. So there's some educational type things. Got two more categories. I'm wondering how's everyone doing? Any of these videos sticking out as favorites or least favorite? Hopefully this has been interesting to you and giving you some ideas. Any of these inspiring you to start your own content series? And then one other additional question. What is like your biggest social video that you've ever made? Why do you think it worked? What is maybe something you thought would be huge, but you tried and it flopped? Would love to know about that too. Anything you want to let me know about your social video habits? Okay, so what's the next one? We've got Make Music With Me. All right, so yeah, I love that one. Person was a great singer too. So let me see here. What was I going to say? Make Music With Me. Okay, so you probably know the get ready with me trend of like, I'm going to sit down and we're going to watch a process unfold of me putting makeup on or whatever. We love to watch things unfold and become, and, like how things get built, all these stuff. Well, music gets built in a very similar way. So it could be the songwriting process. It could be you in the studio. It could be you practicing in your rehearsal space and trying to get the sound right. There's a lot of ways in which we're working piece by piece to make something happen. So, how can you show that in video? There's a huge trend of that happening. And interestingly, to refer back to something I said earlier about it being okay to lip sync and play to a recording, a lot of times when people do this, I'm in the studio stuff, it's already done. They're not like filming every minute of their 8-hour studio session. They get the take. They're like, that was it. Let me go lip sync the vocal. Or, okay, cool. Now let's go to the rehearsal space and play it like we're recording it. But again, whether it's real or fake or staged is sort of beside the point if the music's good and there's something charming about it, for me at least. Let me find this reel that I want to play. Here we go. Oh, this first guy. This is like a whole vibe. He's got this cigarette. He's got the old analog mixing desk behind him. He's got the old sampler. The music's kind of retro sounding, and he's just sitting there doing it. And this is one that I was really surprised had so much engagement. But after I thought about it, I'm like, it's a vibe, and people are responding. So here goes. Just real quick comment on this next one. They do a great job of captions. Pay attention to how the captions kind of keep some bit of mystery and suspense going. All right, just pause this one real quick. This is the only one, as far as I can remember, that has any sort of promo content in it. And what I mean by that is they tell you what their band name is and where they're from. The reason why this doesn't bug me at all in this case is because they're also putting it with a mission statement. So it feels like an introduction that is perfect for their ideal audience, which is someone who's probably sick of the sheen of digital music and they're scared that AI is going to make everything sanitized and boring. They want sweat, they want rock, right? So help us fight music made by AI. It's like, well, am I that person? Maybe I am. Let me listen. Oh, cool. I like that this is these guys' mission. Let me go follow them. So in this context, the sort of promo nature of this doesn't bug me at all. Let me say, I'm just gonna Miles. I covered Green Day song on ukulele, 5,000 views. Not a ton, but the most I've ever received. Then I tried a Foo Fighters song on ukulele. The lesson is clear. The lesson is very, very clear. Aaron saying social media is such a gamble. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe you should have worn a Dave Grohl wig. It is weird because for as much as we like to trust that these algorithms are behaving in a total like meritocracy type way where, you know, great content is going to get served to the right people and it'll grow. There are a lot of, there's a lot of evidence out there by people who do well on social that, hey, I posted this video, it didn't do anything. 6 months later, I thought of a slightly different caption, or maybe I posted the exact same video, just a different time of day, or maybe different season of the world or whatever. And for some reason it took off when at first, well, why didn't it take off the first time? Who knows? So to that degree, Aaron, I agree that it can be a bit of a gamble. Let me go back to this video here. How's the bathroom today? So for anyone who doesn't know what the heck they're talking about, Miles told us that last week he was watching our live stream from the bathroom at work, although I think that may have been a tall tale.
I was scared of going home. Why don't you love it? It's so green. Like that boy I used to know.
So for anyone who doesn't know what kind of content to make, this example right here, very replicable. If you are making vocal music, you just set the camera up after you've got a good vocal take, lip sync along to it, and then you could take that same 20 seconds or whatever it may be and share it 20 different times. So this is when I was making fun of the person earlier who's like, success is so simple. You just make a new song every 4 weeks and make 25 music videos. This is one tactic where I'm like, yeah, you could do that. You could take the same video, try a bunch of different captions and see which pairing of text and context and lyrics matches the visual in a way where it might get more views than it would otherwise get with some different captions. So a lot of room to play around here. Miles, you are driving and watching. Much safer. Hey, please don't blame me for anything that may happen on your drive, except illumination. Blame me for that. Be sure to lip sync well. Yeah, that's a great point, actually, because again, there's so much lip syncing, and sometimes it's done well, and sometimes it's awful. So, yes, good advice there. Let's see. My last, I believe I have one more category of videos I want to show everyone. Yeah, and it's the all new old school music video. So what the heck do I mean by that? So for decades and decades, we lived in this world where sweeping widescreen music videos that had sometimes often a cinematic quality to them. There was a narrative, there was props, there was a setting, there was multiple edits and cuts and special effects and stuff. And I think that really died over the past 5 to 10 years as social took over. And in a lot of ways, that was good news for artists because we didn't have the budget and the time to make those sorts of videos anyways. It became much more real time, more realistic for us to pull off. That was exciting. However, I do feel like there was something kind of lost in moving totally away from the more scripted music video. And I've noticed over the last 6 months that that pendulum is shifting back to having some sort of cinematic quality, to vertical. They're still vertical, and in most cases there aren't edits. They're single take, single camera shots, which is pretty cool, but they have a little bit more of that artificial, this is staged, this is cinematic quality. So let me show you some examples of that.
Walked in a stalemate with many bars, no rules. Rock in a hard place, he's battery control.
Birds are singing la da 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 dee. Yesterday is dead to me. I feel the ground beneath my feet when I say ooh, don't go
Just because I called you doesn't mean I miss you. Lately I just can't get you out of my head.
Just one comment on this. I think for the 90s and the early 2000s, if you had a party music video, it meant a very specific thing. There's going to be a lot of props, there's going to be a lot of edits, a lot of flashy editing. So this is that kind of like middle ground, I think, between it's a party, right? So it's trying to present itself with that kind of artificial stage party thing, except for the fact that how it's shot and who's gathered behind him and how they're all facing the camera. I believe that these are his real friends. Like, called his buddies in college or high school or whatever and was like, hey, let's shoot a music video. So it does a really cool job of balancing that artificial staged thing with a sense of it being his real life at the same time.
I found this shirt I bought you, laying in my bedroom, and now I wanna call just to see how you been.
Used to think I was better than all of the pros. I could build a fight while reaching out, or I told myself I didn't need any meds at all. All the depression and lethargy's all my fault. I can be stronger and I can work harder and I can get over myself if I honor the values and visions and dreams that all matter to me. And I finally prioritize what I need, but I didn't take care of myself. I neglected my physical and mental health. I pretended that I didn't have any problems and I had the tools that I needed to solve them. But now that I finally have some experience taking the pills that I thought were so serious, I'm feeling capable, grounded and curious. Turns out my problems weren't all that mysterious. I'm not a zombie, no, I'm not delirious. Talk, are you hearing this? Talk, are you hearing this?
Right. So again, all or most of those single camera shots, nothing too fancy. Maybe the girl on the cliff, maybe that was a drone shot or required some fancy camera work. But by and large, they're all pretty easy to shoot. They don't require anything massive of you besides just the effort to do it and the idea. So those were the 7. Oh, good question, actually. How long are these videos usually? I would say, between 20 seconds and a minute 20, something like that. Generally, they're less than a minute. Yeah, so those are the 7 kind of buckets that I kept seeing reappear. Lots of walking going on, lots of personalities, big personality or very vulnerable personality, a lot of stunts and daring type stuff going on, a lot of people being squeezed into that vertical frame, a lot of education and instruction, and the process of music making, whether it's songwriting, production, practicing. We like to see the process unfold. And lastly, there was a fair amount of kind of music video style presentation again, which excited me. I think I was on the music video is dead. It's never coming back. Thank God it's dead train for a while, but I honestly missed it. So the degree to which those things can be melded for this newish vertical format is great. That being said, that brings me to the end of, I think, the things I wanted to talk about as far as video goes. I wanted to just give a shout out to an artist that was watching last week, Hakeem Rashid, who we were talking about Reverb Nation's Opportunities program, which, if you don't know, is available to members of Reverb Nation on top of distribution and promo tools and all that. You get the ability to submit to unlimited opportunities that we've curated for you. And the reason this came up last week is because we were talking about pitching. So pitching to labels, tastemakers, playlists, venues, festivals. And Reverb Nation has actually made that process very simple for you. We've got a bunch of festivals, labels, blogs, the Fader magazine, all sorts of things that are interested in discovering independent music for the opportunities that they have available. And basically, you can just go through every week, every 2 weeks, log in, see whatever's new. It's like seriously a one-click submission process. So as long as you're doing a little bit of the reading research to make sure it's a good opportunity that fits your music and that your music is a good fit for the opportunity, it's one click. You can do it as often or as little as you like. It's included with membership. There's no extra fee for the submissions. So we were talking about that, Kevin and I. And oh, thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Glad it was helpful. So yeah, we were talking about it last week, and Hakeem wrote this thing that I just wanted to shout out. He was saying thanks to Reverb Nation for a bunch of the promo tools and so forth, and he was really used the crowd review feature for some good feedback. Then he says, but the most incredible thing to happen for me was getting signed as a result of the opportunities that Reverb Nation provides. I pitched my single Around the World to a Reverb Nation opportunity called Get Signed by chart-topping label 418 Music. 418, I learned, was a national record label that Billboard magazine rated the top dance label of 2018. I submitted the following year in 2019, and they offered me a record deal that led to the national release of my single, which went on to chart in the top 100 dance releases on the Beatport charts. At one point, my single was ranked higher than Club Future Nostalgia with Dua Lipa. It's been an incredible ride with Reverb Nation, and I'm so thankful for all you do for artists like myself. And for anyone wondering, yes, the opportunities Reverb Nation provides are for real. So first, thanks, Hakeem, for that testimony. I'm glad that opportunity led to something really cool for you. Glad you were watching last week to let us know. And I'm reading it here in case any Reverb Nation members have not taken advantage of opportunities in a while. There's some amazing stuff. Again, it doesn't cost you anything extra to submit. It's included with your membership. So check those out. Let's see. As my songs are mostly in French, I'm not sure that it's for me, unfortunately. Do you mean opportunities? Because they're not all English language specific. They are, a lot of them are based in the US or the UK, but there's stuff from all over the world. In fact, I seem to remember some in France. I can't remember if they were blogs or radio play, but you should go in and check it out. Let me, I'll put in the comments here if I can find it real quick. There's a place you can go to see the opportunities without, even if you're not logged into your Reverb Nation account or you're not an existing member yet, you can still see what's available. Let's see if I grabbed it correctly. I did not. Come on, opportunities. Here we go. Okay, so there it is in the comments. So if you follow that link, you can check out the most recent slate of opportunities. They're curated all the time. We've got a team of people adding to them, usually weekly. So check that out. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is Rick Barker, Taylor Swift's former manager, is going to be joining us for the first 4 Thursdays of this series, Music Career Study Group, in October. So beginning next week, he'll be on here with us for 4 sessions. He's going to be talking through a bunch of stuff about how to turn listeners into lifelong fans. This is the, let me show you the theme for the first week, engaging and growing your audience. It's going to be amazing. Rick's a super smart dude. He's going to give you a lot of actionable tips. So take notes. If you miss any of them, they'll be archived. They're on YouTube and Facebook. So you go back, catch up for the following week, and then join us again. He wants it to be very interactive, so you can work with him in real time, ask questions. If he's usually looking for test subjects, let's say. So Kevin and I will be on, so we can be his most reachable test subjects. But if you're there and you're willing to have him kind of look at your stuff, whether it be your promo efforts or the state of your website, anything like that he's going to be referring to. If you want him to kind of workshop your stuff, definitely raise your hand. Kevin and I will be in the chat, making sure he sees the most relevant comments and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So tune in next Thursday. Again, it's with Rick Barker, Taylor Swift's former manager. And thanks again for tuning in. It's a little different format for me this week with no one to talk to directly without Kevin here, but hopefully the presentation style was okay. And again, it's been a pleasure. See you, Aaron. Aaron is laughing at Miles, I think. Miles, I hope you make it home safely and don't look at your device while you're driving. And everyone else, see you next week.